Hey guys, so this is the one draft that I did on M14 release weekend. Normally there'd be like two drafts going off, the evening draft and the late night draft, and I only showed up for the late night draft because it was ball buster hot, and the place doesn't have AC. He's got plenty of fans around at the FLGS, but no air conditioning. So I figured I'd show up late and go for the second draft. All well and good. So I ended up, as you can see here, with a black-red build, and I took second place with this, which I was happy with. I believe I can't remember if I swept my first round opponent or beat him in best of three. I honestly can't remember. Second and first and second round. Yeah. All right, let me try this again in English. Okay. First two rounds, only a 3-round tournament. First two rounds, I swept one opponent, and I got best 2 out of 3 on the other, and I can't remember which was which. I really can't. Wish I could. Then last round, I end up going against Rich. Rich has been going there a long time. Rich is a really good player. He does tend to play a little bit slow. I think that's because he overthinks a lot of things, but it usually works out pretty well for him. Usually, not always. But and he ended up taking me down, and I don't even think I got a game on Rich, to be perfectly honest. But I ended up coming in second place anyway, which surprised the hell out of me, given my really poor third-round performance. But so what I had here, interestingly enough, all right, let's see here, 2 Canyon Minotaurs, the big dumb beef on the ground. Vergathan Firecat 4-1, dumb beef on the ground, very fragile. A lot of this stuff is interesting and works for a lot of purposes. So let's try to get the dumbest stuff. Liturgy of Blood, 3 and double black sorcery, destroy target creature, add triple black to your pool. Had 2 of those. It's high cost removal, but it's still removal. Let's segue that into like removal type stuff. Quag Sickness. It's not really typically efficient removal, but it's a removal. Flames of the Firebrand is really nice. Really nice. A Volcanic Geyser, it can be a removal, it can be a finisher. It's nice. Pitchburn Devils, the 3/3, when it dies, deals 3 damage to target creature or player. That can be used for a lot of things. And over on that note, Vampire Warlord, the 5 mana for 4/2, sack another creature to regenerate him. He's not terrifically great by himself, but he's a sack outlet for Pitchburn Devils. Dragon Eggs. Oh yeah. 2 Dragon Eggs, that was nice. Festering Newt. And of course, any of these things that he might put in the graveyard, I can get back with Corpse Haulers, which are actually pretty nice. I mean, he's a 2/1 for 2. It's not bad. It's not bad. Tenacious Dead goes great with him. Yeah, I can get it back. Or as long as I pay it immediately, I can get it back. Pay the extra colors of black immediately, I can get the Tenacious Dead back. And of course, just abbreviate the name Dead to D. You get Tenacious D. That's also kind of nice. Nightwing Shade, a 2/2 flyer. Inflatable power. Inflates is expensive. His casting cost is expensive, but he's not bad. He's limited playable. You're never going to see him in constructed. 3 Death Gaze Cockatrice. Oh yeah. People were rather intimidated by my cockatrice. Having 3 of them was really nice. Really nice. Those guys are nasty. People don't like blocking them because whatever you throw in front of it dies. And yeah, I mean, it's small enough. It's relatively small enough that people are willing to take the hit a couple of times, but it's also big enough that hitting them with English. It's also big enough that hitting people with the sucker a few times isn't going to feel like you're sitting there trying to paper cut your opponent to death. Mark of the Vampire. for an aura, it's playable. You know, I don't think we're ever gonna see it in constructed, but it's definitely limited playable. You know. Thunderstrike, his combat tricks are nice. Giving one of your dudes +2/+0 first strike is really nice. Seismic Stomp, creatures without flying can't walk this turn. That came in useful. It's nice. Trying to think now. I don't think I had any rares in the deck. Not that I can recall at any rate. I don't recall any rares in the deck. I must have drafted at least one, but I'm trying to blank on what it could have been. Oh yes, I did draft one rare, and it was totally out of color. Totally out of color. I'll get to that in a few moments. Sideboard, in color, Shrivel. It's not bad. It can theoretically remove a lot of guys. It's nice to have it sideboard. Didn't expect to use it. Vile Rebirth is not bad at all. Exile a creature card from my graveyard, and you get a 2/2 zombie token. Okay, sure, why not? A 2/2 for a single black mana with the only prerequisite being something has to be dead? Sure. Sure. Shadowborn Apostle, I only had one of them. I figured it might end up being a filler card. Whatever. Extra stuff in red. Marauding Maulhorn, I'm not particularly fond of. It's a 4 mana, 2 in double red for 5/3. Has to swing each turn if able unless you control an Advocate of the Beast, which is a green creature, which I didn't have any of. Academy Raider, 2 in a red for 1/1. When it deals combat damage to a player, you may discard a card. If you do, draw a card. That's not bad, per se. At first I thought it was overcosted, but then I didn't notice that he had Intimidate. That actually makes him a lot better than I initially thought. 2 Lightning Talons I grabbed because First Strike is really nasty in limited environments. Ended up not using them. Lava Axe. I figured I had enough direct damage that I wouldn't need it. For the most part, I didn't. Wild Guess, it's not bad. At the very least, it's a really good filler card for red. Really good. Other stuff I picked up, Sporomound, whatever you want to call it. 3/3 when a land hits the board under your control, you get a 1/1 Saproling token. It's not bad. It's alright. And a Savage Summoning, which is kind of spiffy. It's kind of interesting. It's alright. Not bad, but it's not a particularly useful card in this environment. Sensor Deprivation, meh, it's alright. It's kind of a little bit on the control-ish side. It's a nice little debuff. Trained Condor is not a bad card at all in blue. Seacoast Drake, hey, you know what? It's a really good blocker if nothing else. You know. Also, I had some artifacts in the sideboard. Darksteel Ingot. It's technically better than Monolith was. It's an alright card. If you end up having to go more than one color, or you need or your mana curve is kind of high and you need mana acceleration, it's not necessarily a bad choice. Not a great choice, but not bad. Quarter Shield, I picked it up because I figured there's a few creatures in the set that have low toughness and it might come in useful. Like, for example, that Firecat. Turn the Firecat from a 4/1 into a 4/4 Vigilance would be kind of spiffy. But I just didn't choose to run it. Violet Poison, I figured, what the hell. Maybe it'll come in useful, maybe it wouldn't. I don't know. I don't know. Pair of Millstones in the sideboard. I thought about those. I really did, but my deck was just too aggressive for Millstone to be worthwhile, you know? I mean, if my deck was a slow, control-based deck, yeah, I would have been all over the Millstone action, but it wasn't. It wasn't. So stuff from the prize pool and such nuggets. I got a Judge's Familiar F&M promo card. Yay, random chance stuff. A Grim Return, a Chandra's Phoenix, an Elite Arcanist, kind of spiffy, Foil Vampire Warlord, and Foil Planes, which are probably both going into Trade Binder. I have no real use for those. I may even put the Phoenix in Trade Binder, to be honest, because I have a bunch of Chandra's Phoenix from M12. For that matter, I think the bird might end up going too. I'm not sure. I'll have to go through my stuff and double check. Alrighty. So that's that. And I had a request recently to talk about my Minotaur deck, so we're gonna see a video on that soon. So because what people want to ask about, like one of my favorite decks, I mean, like, oh, you want me to talk about Battle Cattle? I can do that. But in the meantime, that concludes this vid, guys. Be good, stay safe, etc., etc., yada yada.